I've heard this idea, like think who, not how. And I think I was constantly thinking how can I do these things? And just when realizing like, well, who could do these things, or it's not just doing the things, but just taking responsibility for the outcome, right?
Here's the thing. The fastest growing companies in the world, they're small businesses, often with less than 100 employees. So how are gritty entrepreneurs, CEOs, and founders like us going up against massive markets, scaling teams, building systems, and skyrocketing to success before crashing and burning? This podcast will give you those answers. My name is Chris Ronzio. Welcome to the fastest growing companies. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Chris Ronzio, and today I'm here with Ross Black. He is the founder and CEO of Simplebox. Hey, Ross.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So tell me just the basics. What is Simplebox for anyone that hasn't heard of it?
Yeah, we're a storage company, and we do portable storage. So we'll help people move from one place to the next. It's moving is probably at the top of the list of people's like most stressful thing that they could imagine doing. There's a lot of excitement usually with it too, but so our goal is just to kind of simplify the moving process, even as someone is kind of doing it themselves, you know?
So you try to make it easy, make moving easy.
That's right.
I've got, I don't see too many employees face to face these days, but I've got one team member that's in the office that's moving right now, and I know how stressful it can be. So
absolutely.
So thank you for what you do. Now, I was on your profile before and saw you've had this company for 24 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I feel like that is a lifetime.
I know. I feel like I'm old. We're starting to act our age finally now, but yeah, I started the company when I was in high school. So that's gave us a little bit of a head start on the number of years, I guess.
I love that. I started my first company in high school too, but I only lasted 12 before I jumped out to something else. So you are more disciplined than I was.
Oh, I was just talking with a friend saying like the one thing no business plan ever really talks about is like, how is this going to end? And especially as a like student, you know, or a teenager, you're not thinking about the end of anything, right? You're just thinking about beginnings. So I wish someone would have walked me through that a little earlier, but.
So 24 years in business, but in the last like 3 or 4 years, you've gone from 16 people to 30 people, like doubled in size. And so it seems like over the last few years, like you said, starting to act your age, but really you've hit some kind of growth. So I like to ask people why they get into this business. I mean, for you in high school, how did you decide to make a mobile storage company?
Oh, I know. I probably by accident. And I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My parents moved to America when I was 13, and so kind of had this idea that anything is possible, you know. But my parents had restaurants and a bakery. I grew up in a bakery, and so I just saw them working so hard every day to make donuts and hope to make a nickel off each one of them, and then hope that the same people that bought that donut today will come back tomorrow and buy another one. And I just, from like a pretty early age, I think I knew that I would be in business of some kind, but I wanted it to be something that had a little longer, cycle between when you needed to ask your customer to come back again. And there's probably nothing longer than storage, because I think it's like Newton's first law, probably: an object at rest tends to stay at rest unless enacted on by another force. And so
that's your business
storage,
right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah. The Newton
time
principle.
tested.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great. So to last this long and be in business and successful this long, what do you think's been like the thing that makes your company so special? Why do people pick you?
Well, I think it's a heart of service, and that I get from my parents for sure. And I mean, it's not just me; it's our whole team. My dad just, I think, instilled on us like hospitality, open your doors, serve enough people and help enough people get what they want, and someday you'll be able to get what you want. I think that when it comes to the storage side of things, it's just, you're looking at this mountain of stuff. The stuff is not the most important thing in your life, but it definitely is an important thing that's got to get dealt with so you can focus on the things that actually matter most. And so we just feel like the best thing that we can do is just serve. Like, it's basically, how can I help you? And it's usually, I can help you by just providing a space, getting it as close to where you need it as possible, and then you can carry on and do whatever else you need to do.
Just solve the problem quickly, right? As long as you
Correct.
can
Yeah.
help them. We have a
Yeah.
core value that's it's called carry the groceries, because right before I
Oh,
started my first business, I was bagging groceries in a supermarket, and I just thought, like, what would remind people of that helpfulness of just like to carry the load for someone else. And so that's always stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great, I love that, that kind of image for your value too. So yeah,
Cool.
it's great.
So as you think back, you obviously have had the business a while, but for the first 20 years you operated, you built it to a team of, a dozen or 15 people. And then for the next 4 years, you doubled in size. And so what was the tipping point, you think, that really made you take that next leap?
The probably, um, we were probably in this kind of like whitewater, owning a job instead of owning a business mode. And honestly, I'm still probably there at what a lot of my days are there still. But I think just realizing, hey, we've got a good concept. People love it. And we love serving in this way. Um, but it really would be so much better if we were solving problems now that that could be multiplied in the future, and just kind of eliminate some of the hassle and the headache of running a business, but kind of multiply the opportunity too. So I think I probably just had this bit of uneasiness myself, thinking like, oh man, we're just in this awkward spot of just a couple locations and just a fairly small team. One person leaves on vacation when you've got a dozen on your team, and you're all like carrying quite a heavy load. But when you've got 30 people, you can manage that a little better.
Yeah. So the uneasiness you mentioned when you've got a smaller team, how did you bring yourself to take the risk of adding more team members and kind of going into that uncomfortable space where maybe it's growing bigger than you think you're ready for? Did you feel like that?
Yeah, I think I I think my whole family has always had this, like, it's almost like my big fat Greek wedding type of mentality, like the more the merrier, and so we constantly are always inviting people in, like, hey, if you're looking to work with people you love, and do work that you would love, just come and join us. So it probably didn't feel so much like a risk as a like, oh, let's just keep adding to this. I hate to say family because sometimes that can be really strange, but
It's like an abundance mindset of just
correct,
like,
yeah.
if you find more good people, then it's easier to grow. So over the last, I guess, couple decades, have there been moments where you felt like, I don't know if this thing's going to work?
Oh my word, yeah. I feel like every Thursday night, Friday's usually like my most productive day, because every Thursday, I think I'm just feeling, kind of taking an evaluation. I've tried to practice GTD. And so Friday morning ends up being my weekly review. And I just have this like haunting, wow, did I get anything done this week? Or did I get any of the right things done this week? So probably almost on a weekly basis, it's like, that's my Thursday thing. And it probably does compel me to make Friday really count, instead of cruising into the weekend, to really, really make it the strong end of the week.
It's
But
fun. I love that you do the getting things done, and but that it also causes you stress.
Exactly.
So
It is
it's
not what he intended, I think,
yeah.
right?
But
Yeah,
but it's motivating, at least it's working
absolutely.
in the end. So then when you think about the growth over the years, there's got to be something that maybe about your business model, maybe about the type of customer you focus on, maybe about the locations you serve. I mean, what sort of areas did you focus or double down that really helped you grow?
Yeah, we focused just in the basically complete opposite area where our kind of the big name competitors are, and it's where we live. I've got 4 kids, and so we kind of just focused on serving areas where we live, and where our friends or family live, and kind of think about that like 1,000 fans concept, and you can maybe cheat a little bit by having 100 like family members or friends or whatever, and so that definitely was a strategic choice, I think, just to choose to not even be where our competitors are. I love our competition because they run really professional, organized businesses, and it does compel us to kind of keep pace. But at the same time, we really are, I don't know, serving in such unique markets that that I don't have to be looking over my shoulder constantly. Just run our own race.
I know you mentioned your 4 kids, and I've got 2 kids as well. I think an untapped market would be public storage containers for children. So
Oh my goodness,
kids can like put all their crap in there and
yeah,
just leave it in the driveway. I think that would be fire. That would.
I tell you what so much of our customer base is, it's deferred decision making for people in their kind of late 40s, early 50s, heading into empty nest. They've got all of their stuff, all their kids' stuff, maybe even an older generation stuff. And it's like, what do I do with it? I know there's value here somewhere, but I have zero time or just bandwidth to actually decide on these things. And so it's like, shove it all in a box. We'll deal with that on another day.
Monetizing indecision.
I know, man. Yeah.
I like it. All right. So how about you and your role? Like over the years, from high school to now, I imagine you've evolved quite a bit. And so, whether it's the day-to-day, your responsibilities, or just your how you are as a leader, how do you think you've changed to enable some of this growth?
I think I'm just now, like we talk about acting our age, I think I'm just over these last couple of years realized that I am the bottleneck in our company. I could probably be quite a bit of the heartbeat, but if the decisions need to be all filtered through me, I suffer from the same kind of indecision fatigue or decision fatigue or whatever, where it's like, oh, I just don't know what to do. And so I think over the last few years have really tried to just encourage my team. Like, I trust you. You make great decisions. You wouldn't be on the team and you wouldn't be feeling comfortable on this in your role if you weren't a good common sense decision maker with great customer service who fit our ideal team player values. And so I think that probably has been a change for me over the last couple of years. And it really couldn't have come a moment too soon. With some of the things that our family has worked through over the last year, I just wasn't even available or around in order to really be able to make a lot of those decisions. So,
wow.
Yeah,
that's so valuable. So I guess then for anyone listening, are there key roles or people you've put in place that you just wish you hired sooner?
Oh my word. Yeah. This, a year and a half ago, we hired a head of operations, a friend of mine, Peter, that I had, every Thursday or Friday, I would probably reach out to him saying like, oh my goodness, you want to meet for coffee? And would just talk about the latest issues that I'm dealing with. And he would kind of coach me through it or just kind of brainstorm some solutions with me. And finally just asked him like, would you just come and work with me? So he came on as head of operations, and that I wish I would have started right at the beginning, because my brain does not think really systematically, like here's how to just repeat this process again and again. Yeah. And so he's been a wonderful addition. And then head of finance, my brain I make so many emotional decisions, gut level decisions. A lot of times they're right, but someone who just makes decisions without emotion, just looking at the finances, is another area where I'm so grateful that we brought someone on for that, I guess, about 3 years ago now. And that really, timing wise, that's probably where we've seen our growth come without too much chaos.
Wow. So it's totally parallel. What a correlation between adding some of the operations and the finance side that you felt you didn't have, and then seeing that growth kind of skyrocket. That's great.
Absolutely.
And it's, thinking back in my business, I have more of the operations side, but yet I hired the finance person and I've got the marketing creative. So sometimes you just need to piece together the right building blocks.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've heard this idea, like think who, not how. And I think I was constantly thinking, how can I do these things? And just when realizing like, well, who could do these things, or it's not just doing the things, but just taking responsibility for the outcome. Right.
Absolutely. Who, not how is, I think, a Dan Sullivan concept.
Yes.
Strategic Coach. The book just came out. It was incredible. So highly recommend that if that's where you heard that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's next for Simplebox as you think ahead to the next 24 years?
Yeah. That is so, it's so good to think that way. It's like, what do you really want? What do you want 24 years from now, or even 2 years from now? Right. And hey, I think you're in Arizona, right? And we have just opened our first location. We're like 2 months into serving in the west side of Phoenix.
Cool.
And I believe we'll end up with probably 2 or 3 more locations just serving customers that are moving to and from the area around there. I love Hawaii. I love Maui, and I've just been fortunate to be able to go on family vacation there a couple times in my life. And I think this will happen. I don't know if it will, but it's a great picture to put for our whole team. I just say, we'll know we have made it when we have a location in Maui, a business reason to go to Maui. And I just think about everything we do works with containers. Everything that goes to and from Hawaii is in a container. Why can we not just put the two things together? So I think that's long term where I would love to be, is just to serve the Hawaiian Islands and enjoy it also.
I love that. So everybody that's listening, listen how Ross is painting a future vision. He's casting this vision, designing a business in a way that suits his life. You like Maui, so you want to take your business to Maui. That is something that so many people, I think, can learn from, because really we design our businesses. We choose what the plan is for the next few years. And, I think in my first business, I said something very similar. We ended up shooting videos in Oahu every year, every January. And it was like a 2-week vacation that was just part of the job. And so I can't underscore that enough. Create a vision and then go get it. So thank you, Ross, for that. Before we wrap up here, if people are looking to learn more about your company or you, where should they find you?
Yeah, website getsimplebox.com, and that probably points to a lot of my contact info and probably most social media. It's like Ross DJ Black. I'm not super active, but I'm getting better at it. So.
All right. Well, you heard it from Ross. He grew from 16 to 30 people in just the last few years. After 24 years in business, he's clearly figured something out, built a great culture, very family oriented, focused in on true fans to be different from the competition, removed himself as a bottleneck from the business, and supported himself with some great leaders in finance and operations. So take a page from Ross's playbook, or a few pages if you've been listening to this. Think through who you can supplement yourself with and how you can cast a vision for what you want out of the business for your life. Ross, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you. And I know a bit about your company, and I don't know if you know the EntreLeadership Tribe. Oh my word, you have so many raving fans there, and I'm a part of that group as well. And just I heard this quote about the immature mind constantly hops from one thing to another. The mature mind seeks to follow through. And I feel like what you are doing, not to do a sales pitch for your service. Well, I should, after you've done this for me, but I feel like what you do is you just help people. Here's how to not be bouncing around, whether it's in training or just in any kind of a process, and just follow through. You want to become a mature person, you want to have a mature company. Here's what you do step by step. And so, I don't know, you've got to just find a way to hop into that EntreLeadership group, because you have so many raving fans there. People just kind of unsolicited saying train you the bomb, and so cool. yeah
thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. We love the whole Ramsey Solutions team and EntreLeadership, and I think we're going to be at the next event whenever that
Sweet.
is. So
yeah,
very cool. Thanks again for being here, Ross. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Fastest Growing Companies podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. If you found the information helpful, share it with your friends and family that can benefit from it. You can also find Trainual's company account @Trainual, just like a training manual. We'll see you next time.